Hi everyone, I'm David Aragona. He's Mike Beer. We're talking about some undercard action at Pimlico on Saturday, Preakness Saturday. Race 10 is the Sir Barton, the race that kicks off that late pick 4 sequence that will end with the Preakness. And you definitely want to do a deep dive into a lot of these stakes races at Pimlico on Saturday. It's a really fascinating card, and you want to do your handicapping at DRF.com. So pick up some past performances for this race at shop.drf.com. Got a bunch of different plans you can choose from. Classic, Formulator, Time Formula SPPs, whatever suits your handicapping. You can also pick up some betting strategies while you're visiting shop.drf.com. I'll be writing those for the Saturday card, my picks for all the races, how I'm going to play the races, analysis, and the bets that I plan to put in, so make sure to check that out while you're picking up your PPs. Mike, got a field of 9 entered for this Sir Barton. This a race that, for the 3-year-olds that are probably a cut below the quality that's required for a Triple Crown event like the Preakness. Also going a shorter distance, a mile on the 16th, and a lot of this field still has something to prove on the way in.
Yeah, absolutely. There are no standouts in here. I think the race, in an odd way, the race kind of centers around the 1 Crudo and the 6 Invictus, 2 horses coming right off of maiden wins here and both stretching out for the first time. Well, they've both looked pretty good, particularly in the maiden wins, David. We'll find out a little bit more about them on Saturday.
And they might have to work out different sorts of trips in this race, not only because they're stretching out around 2 turns for the first time, but because there appears to be a lot of speed in this race. And we'll take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector for this Sir Barton, and neither Invictus or Crudo are shown on the front end. Crudo, I would imagine, kind of has to go from the inside, but he's shown as the 4th or 5th fastest early because there are other horses like him who has plenty of early speed. The number 3 Bear Claw Necklace is likely to go forward as well. So it's pretty easy to envision this pace heating up.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see exactly how fast they go to, because when I look at, like, one of the horses that the pace predictor has up there is him, and I don't know, he has shown speed in the past. That most recent start, they went super slow in that race. I don't know, I wonder about him. When I looked at Crudo, I know that he broke really alertly last time and just sort of dominated on the lead. I don't view him as a horse who needs the lead, and I actually think the inside post position for him going 2 turns is perfect.
Well, let's start our conversation to Contenders with that horse that you were just referencing, Mike, the number 1 Crudo, because I think we've got a difference of opinion about this horse. He's stretching out for the first time, and we'll take a look at the replay of his maiden win last time out at Keeneland, where he got the job done at an extremely short price. He was 2 to 5 in this spot. He has been odds on in both races so far, so clearly he's shown something in the morning prior to these races that give the bettors expectations that he's going to develop into a nice horse. He's going to get a real class test here, stretching out around the 2 turns, Mike. The pedigree is there for him to go longer. But when I watch this horse run, especially the debut race where he made this middle move and then really shortened stride at the end, I've got some concerns about the distance.
Maybe. Didn't you think he was super green in his debut? When I watched his debut, I was really lenient for that performance. I guess we'll find out. I just thought he was really green in that race. He made a run into it, and then he did flatten out at the end. And ultimately, I didn't care about that race all that much because I feel like he looked like a horse who really needed it. And when he came back 2 months off, he comes back going 7 at Keeneland. He looked like a totally different horse to me. He broke alertly from the gate. He had 3 on that field in the first 50 yards, and he just cruised around there like a horse who really moved forward from start 1 to start 2. I expect him to stretch out effectively in this race. I don't mind him having the rail in here. You know, he's not going to be a great price in this race, so I don't want to sit here and talk him up in here in any way, shape, or form. I think he has a chance to be really good.
I just didn't love that the pace was so slow last time, and he got such an easy lead. I feel like it's going to be much more contentious in this race. And we referenced the pedigree. He's a full brother to Awesome Results. Some people might remember that's the undefeated Japanese horse that tried to come over for the Breeders' Cup Distaff last year. She wants to run all day. To me, this horse looks like a different physical, so I wonder if he's going to appreciate added distance as much as her. The number 2, Best Friend Rocket, is a horse that shouldn't mind the distance at all. He's got victories going the 2 turns on the dirt. He was really gritty when he won 2 back at Oaklawn. Then they tried the Arkansas Derby last time. It was just totally overmatched there.
Yeah, I don't care about the Arkansas Derby. He was never going to win that race. I'll give him credit for being really game winning 2 starts back. I did not like that race. And if he runs that race back, I don't think he's beating this field.
The number 3, Bear Claw Necklace, is a horse that's going to have to get faster to be competitive against this field, but he could still be a pace factor because he has shown good early speed in his races, including going sprint distances. They stretched out to the mile last time. He was no match for Preater, a Chad Brown runner who had some hype around him coming into this season. He was kind of disappointing in the Lexington after that. They entered this horse in the Wood Memorial. He was going to be a huge price. They scratched him out of that race. Now we're running here instead. Just don't know how much upside there is here.
Yeah, and as of yet, anyway, I don't really like any of his races. I mean, the races that he's run so far, to me, don't make him interesting at all in here. But Safi Joseph seems to think he's pretty good. He's shopping for some tough spots for this horse.
The number 4, Mr. Bogan, based at Parks, coming in here. He's finished on the board in 6 starts in a row, so he's relatively consistent. His speed figures have been on an upward trend, but this is still a big step up in class, and it feels like he might not quite be up to the challenge.
Yeah, I respect that he always shows up. I just don't like him in this race.
Another big long shot is going to be the number 5, Bold Diversion. He was part of the pace last time in the Federico Tessio. Couldn't really go with those horses at the end. Another one that just doesn't really have a speed figure that makes him competitive here.
Yeah, he just seems like he's, a big cut below horses like this, and he was exposed a little bit last time.
The number 6, Invictus, like the first horse we talked about, Crudo, is coming off a maiden victory at Keeneland last time in the second start of his career. We'll take a look at the stretch run of that race. And Mike, this horse got a real figure for that race. A 90 buyer. He rated off the pace, came under pressure pretty early on the far turn, but he really responded once Flavian Pratt really got into him in the late stages, was finishing with really good energy across the wire. And he's got pedigree to go this distance because he is out of a Kentucky Oaks winner.
Yeah, in other words, you don't really worry about them stretching out. It feels like that was probably the plan all along. I mean, I don't know what happened when they debuted him at Saratoga last time. He did not run well in that race, but they went right back to the drawing board. He was obviously better last time at Keeneland. I mean, I don't have any knocks on him, David. I know he got the figure last time. I didn't really love that race from him, but I feel like if you like the 1, you can't really like the 6, and sort of vice versa there. I preferred the 1.
The number 7, Him, is a horse that looked good on debut, winning going the 6 furlong distance, and seemed like a horse that might have a future around 1 turn, but they immediately stretched him out in his second start and ran pretty well in a fast-paced allowance race 2 back. He was beaten by Passion Rules, who came back to flatter that form, but he finished a pretty good third in the Wood Memorial after that. And then last time in the Bathhouse Row, Mike, you mentioned it earlier, he got to the front end, got super comfortable, setting slow fractions, and just had no answer at the end. So I wonder if he really wants to go this far.
Yeah, that was my concern with him too. I mean, I liked his first 2 races. I didn't love them, but I liked them. I did not like his race last time at all. And that's the race where, they might bet him off of that with the 88 buyer speed figure. And I just don't like that performance. I don't want to bet this horse.
The number 8, Authentic Gallop, is also a horse that has some form from Oaklawn Park. He won an allowance race there 2 back. Was pretty game to get the job done in that spot, though. I question the quality of that field a little bit, and that 84 buyer he earned for that race kind of sticks out among his past performances. They tried the Virginia Derby after that. It's not like that was the toughest Derby prep, and he didn't run a step in that race.
No, he was so bad last time that it sort of makes it hard to go back to him, even against a field like this one, as well as he ran, I guess if you want to say he ran well 2 starts back. He did get a reasonable buyer speed figure for the race. I still don't like that performance that much either, David. This horse, to me, he could take money too, and I don't like him.
Rounding out the field on the outside is the number 9, Just a Fair Shake. This is a horse that didn't earn any speed figures that make him interesting during his 2-year-old season, Mike, but he ran deceptively well in that Laurel Futurity, a race where a lot of horses had trips, and he put in a good effort there. Came back off the layoff in a race at Laurel where it looked like he got really tired at the end, but still was able to gut it out, and then ran the Federico Tessio last time. I'll take a look at the stretch run of that race, and he drew post 10. They go right into that turn at Laurel, so he had to be wide every step of the way. He lost a ton of ground, but still took a real run at Paybilly at the top of the stretch, and that's a horse that's going to be a big price in the Preakness, but we believe he's got some talent, so I don't want to fault Just a Fair Shake for being right there with that horse at the end.
I don't either. As opposed to some of the other horses that we've been talking about here who could take money in here, I like all of his races. I think he's run well every single time. I really liked this Tessio last time. To me, you either like, in this kind of a race anyway, in my opinion, you either like the 1 and the 6 that are the newcomers here who are stretching out, or you like this horse.
Well, before we get to our picks for this race, everybody, make sure to like this video if you're watching on YouTube, and also subscribe to the Daily Racing Forward YouTube channel. We got a lot of content planned for Preakness week. You don't want to miss any of the analysis that Mike and I are giving you from Pimlico. Well, Mike, let's go to picks for this race, and you are going to land on the number 1, Crudo. I know we aren't on the same page about this horse, but he is one that you can make the argument does have upside.
Yeah, I don't know that I would, I don't want to sit here and suggest that I would bet him at any kind of a short price. I just think he's a really talented horse, and I'm going to take him on top. And here, to me, I prefer him to the 6. And if I don't take either one of those horses, I'm taking the 9. That's your top pick.
And I kind of thought that the other horse coming off a maiden victory, Invictus, might be the horse to beat in this race, but I do like the number 9, Just a Fair Shake, and there is so much speed in here. At least he's one that's going to be just fine if he's got a rally from a little further off the pace, so I like that about him with his running style. So the number 9, Just a Fair Shake for me, and the number 1, Crudo for Mike, and race 10 at Pimlico on Preakness Saturday, the Sir Barton. Good luck if you're playing the races this weekend.